to thank the staff and administration that are joining us this evening, Dean Meacham, Dr. Gilstein, Professor Irvine, Professor Rogers. The students today have had a very difficult task. They had developed business plans about 12 weeks. They divided into groups, they discussed concepts, they did research, they sent out surveys, they met with me, they met with me, they talked with me. At this point, I think we're all sick with me, and that's okay, because they have some really great plans, and I'm really proud of them. So I look forward to your presentation as well as the responses to your questions, judges. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce Professor Susan Sikowski. Last fall, 2 teams worked with Professor Sikowski developing a path to implement the plan. And I'm pleased to announce a review of these 2 apps. We're really excited because the first one is actually just will be in effect come fall.
Software design, development, testing a couple of times throughout the semester. They met with the business students to show them their progress, and the business students were fabulous. They were great business clients. They told us what they liked, they told us what we needed to improve, and it was a great partnership. And like I said, I'm super excited to be here this evening. The students are excited to be here. And with that, one last thing, I hope we're going to be able to continue to partner in this fashion and maybe even partner more because I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the business students as well as the computer science students. With that, I'm going to hand the baton off to the first IT team, Valerie Palchenko and Sai.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Today we're going to be presenting to you the McCaffrey Go application. The business idea behind the McCaffrey Go application was created by these business students: Mark Bladke, Tiffany Palacios, Madison Schwartz, and Gregory Sylvester. We are the software development team behind McCaffrey Go. My name is Simon Butler, and with me is Valerie Palchenko, and in the audience you'll see Albert Griffin. The McCaffrey Go app is a mobile app that is used for students and staff to place orders for food and beverages for McCaffrey for same-day pickup. It's also important to know these things about McCaffrey Go. McCaffrey Go does not only feature McCaffrey Cafe, but it can also feature other restaurants such as Fournier Dining Hall, the Griffin's Den, and even the restaurant Bruno's, which is actually across the street.
Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. That's better. Was I loud enough before? Okay. Do I need the mic, y'all? Okay, cool. Okay. Use the mic. Okay. So, the McCaffrey To Go app can feature other restaurants such as Fournier Dining Hall, the Griffin's Den, and also Bruno's, which is across the street from this campus. Another important thing to know about McCaffrey To Go is that it is more than just a mobile app. McCaffrey To Go also features the McCaffrey To Go dashboard, which is used specifically for staff at McCaffrey Cafe to view orders placed on the mobile app, to alter the status of orders placed on the mobile app, and to change the queue of the orders placed on the mobile app. So, without further ado, Valerie is going to show you a demo of the mobile application, and once she's complete, I will show you a demo of the McCaffrey To Go dashboard. Thank you.
This is the sign-in page for the McCaffrey To Go app, and this app fully supports sign-in, sign-out, and sign up functionality as well as confirming new users. But since I already have an account, I'll be using that to demonstrate the app now. So upon signing in, you will be directed to the home page where all the restaurants that you are able to order from will be displayed. Along with the restaurant's name, you will see pickup hours, which are a designated set of interval of hours that the restaurant sets which users can order or pick up their food from. Next is the service fee, which is a tax that is added to the total of your order, covering labor costs. And finally, the location of the restaurant on the Chestnut Hill College campus. So in order to view the menu of a restaurant, simply just click into it. Here you will see the same information that I just mentioned, along with the menu of the restaurant. And the menu items are categorized in 4 different categories, such as breakfast, lunch, snacks, and beverages. Now, along with the menu item name, you will see a description, and the description can be an actual description of the item or a portion size or both. It just depends on what the restaurant input. Next, you see the calories of the item, whether or not it's gluten-free, and finally, the price of the item. Now, as a new user, before you can select an item to add to your basket, you will be directed to the profile screen where you will have to enter your full name. And this is required because your full name is tied to all the orders that you create. So simply just put your name in, click save, and then your profile will be saved, and you no longer have to touch that screen. So going back to the menu, some items, such as the cinnamon French toast item, will prompt users to enter some additional information, such as additional items that they would like to be included in the order, and this is item specific. So if I wanted to order a cinnamon French toast, I will have to put in that I want maple syrup, or just syrup. Okay. Then I will add it to my basket. And if I wanted to include something else, such as a hot dog, as you can see, there are no special instructions, so I will add that to my basket. And once you've added all your items, simply just scroll to the bottom of this page, and you will see an Open Basket button. Click into that to view your basket. Here you can see all your items, the quantity, as well as the price, the instructions that you input, and you have 2 options here. You can either create your order, or you can delete the basket if you choose to make a new one. So before you can create an order, you have to select a valid pickup time between the pickup hours that I mentioned before. So if you select a time that is invalid, for example, and you click create order, it'll tell you, please select a valid time. So once you do that, you click create order, and this will prompt payment. Now, this payment supports credit card payment, and some of the cards that are supported include Visa and MasterCard and Discover. So once you input your credit card information, you click pay, and if your card is valid and has sufficient funds, your payment will be confirmed, and you will get an alert about it. Now, to view the orders that you create, just go to the Your Orders tab in the bottom navigation, refresh the page, and your current order will be displayed at the top, and this is useful when you have a lot of orders. So here you see the total of your order, the status of your order, which will change depending on whether or not your order is currently being made or completed. And you also see the pickup date and time of your order. To view more information, just click on it. Here you will see similar information along with all the items in your order, the prices, the quantity, the instructions, the service fee, and the total of your order. Then just sign out, and that's the mobile application.
All right, now I'm going to be demoing the McCaffrey Go dashboard for you all. And for the sake of this demo, I'm actually going to be playing the role as a McCaffrey Cafe staff member, just so everyone can get a good idea of what's going on. So, starting off, I am now in the McCaffrey To Go dashboard, and furthermore, I'm in the order screen of the dashboard. Here in the order screen, you can see all of the orders here. These are all the orders that have been placed on the mobile app for McCaffrey Cafe. If I want to refresh the queue in order to see the most recent order placed, I simply select the Get Orders button here. Now that I've selected the Get Orders button, I can see the order that Valerie has just placed in the demo of the mobile application. Now, as a McCaffrey Cafe staff member, I need to see the order of this details in order to fulfill the order. Therefore, I'm going to select the order here. After pressing the order, I'm taken to the order details screen where I can see all of the information for the order. In the midsection, you can see the exact item that Valerie has selected, the quantity of the item, and also the individual price of that item. In the bottom section, you can see the service fee, and you can see the total of the entire order. Now, in the top section, you can see the order status. Currently, the status is pending, meaning that in the McCaffrey mobile app, that order has been transferred here to the dashboard, but it has not yet been started by a staff member. I, as the staff member, when I start the order, I have the ability to press Accept Order to change the status from pending to in progress. When I change the status here, it is also reflected within the mobile application. In progress means that I, the staff member, have already started the order and am in the process of fulfilling that order. Now, when the order is complete, I have the ability to press Food is Done to change the status to completed, meaning that the order is now complete and it is ready for pickup. Other than the order status, the other details that are within the order details screen are the created on date, which is the date that signified the exact date that the order was made, the pickup time, which is the time that Valerie selected within her demo of the mobile application, and the customer name, which is the information that is saved within the profile screen. Now, you all may have been wondering, how was Valerie able to see the items that were within the mobile app? Well, that's actually created here within the dashboard. If I go to the restaurant menu, I can see all of the items that are within the restaurant for McCaffrey Cafe. Along with these items, I have the ability to remove the items. For the sake of this demo, I'm just going to select No. I can update the items by pressing the Update button. Here in the Update Item screen, all of the information for the specific item is here. This information can be updated, and it can be saved. And finally, I can create a new item, which will be placed within the menu of McCaffrey Cafe, here. Now, you also may have been wondering, how was Valerie able to see the information for the restaurant in the McCaffrey To Go application? That is also created within the McCaffrey To Go dashboard, here in the Create Restaurant section. Here in the Create Restaurant section, I can see all of the details of the restaurant, starting off with the name of the restaurant, the location of the restaurant, the image of the restaurant, which is shown within the restaurant of the McCaffrey To Go mobile application, the service fee, which is subject to each individual restaurant, and finally, the start and end hours, which make up for the time interval that any customer can select pickup time for this restaurant. So with that, that is our demo of the McCaffrey To Go application. Is there any questions? Oh, there we go, question. When it's going to be put out? So pretty much, we believe in the fall. I think Professor Brazil may have said that earlier. Yeah, we could try to launch it in the fall. I'm going to start with Danny in the row here, and then I'll go to. So with this release of the app, the Mill Swipe hasn't been incorporated. Now we're just going to be using the Stripe payment that you've seen, Valerie's shown within her demo of the mobile application, but Mill Swipes are not being incorporated in this release yet. No problem. Yep, you're right here. Yep.
Hi, Chris Cordero here. I was on the Griffin Tank for when this was presented as a business plan, so
Nice.
Glad to see it come to fruition. I have a question with maybe a follow-up question depending on how you answer this. The service fee of $1.50, does that go to the specific restaurant, or does that go back to the operator to help support the operations of the mobile app?
So as far as the service fee, that where the money for the service fee is going is up to the business plan and how they want to develop that. But starting off, we kind of thought it could possibly go to the workers that are using the McCaffrey to go. You know what I mean? It could possibly go to that.
Yeah, that's a great answer, because in the presentation, we determined as a board, this was not just a standalone business, but a great solution within a business as a way to optimize operations. And one of the key metrics that we requested to collaborate with, the Griffin, the Capri Cafe, is the cost of operations, and how are you able to make sure that the functionality of the application can sustain itself through some sort of mechanism. So that's I'm glad to see that there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I do want to note that Maddie is here from the McCaffrey to Go. Right. She stand up there. She was part of the team that is
Thank you. I think somebody had a question back here. Did you still have a question? Yeah. Oh, that was the same. Okay, sorry about that. Any other questions? All right. Well, sorry about that. We have one question back here. That should be, yes. We should be able to put the Starbucks Cafe on the mobile application as well. And will the application be able to use the points or? So right now, as far as all payment methods, it's only going to be with credit payment as far as how we're using the Stripe method. So any meal swipes or Griffin points or anything isn't going to be a part of this release. Yep.
Have you had any bugs to work out yet?
Glad we want to talk about the bugs.
During the whole, development process, we did have a lot of bugs that we were kind of working with, but we did resolve a very large number of them. And if this continues to be developed, a lot more will be resolved, but there aren't too many currently.
Any other questions? Oh. We'll get your question over here.
Thank you. How far do you all plan to carry this? Do you plan to take some of the user feedback that you're hearing this evening and in the coming months as you roll it out to expand and redesign?
Definitely. A big part of being here was to get a lot of this out, and so everyone can see what we created here. And the user feedback is a big part of the McCaffrey to Go app. So everything that we're getting here, we're going to write down and make sure we take it back to the drawing board and make it better. You know what I mean? This release of the app is definitely top notch for, you know what I mean, for the amount of time we had. But the user experience is going to be great after all of the notes that we get. Yep.
Speaking to user experience and optimizing the dashboard for application functionality, who has access to the dashboard? Is it just the operators yourself, or do the restaurants like Bruno's or anyone else have access to that to, add specials or, real-time information?
Yeah, so that is for the any staff member at any restaurant. It's not going to be for us. So when the app is released, the McCaffrey to Go dashboard is made specifically for staff members at a restaurant. It's so they can give information and feed it to the mobile application for customers to see and for customers to make orders. So it's all going to be for the staff members there. Yep, administration. Oh, I see a question all the way back there. Yep, that's going to be a part of user feedback as well. So, yep, appreciate that, man. Any other questions? All right, well.
We need just a few moments to transition from McCaffrey to Coach Finder, so please give us just a couple of minutes. Okay, everybody, thanks for waiting. I think we're ready to go now. Oh, maybe we're not ready to go. Would you like us to start? Okay. All right, here we go. Coach Finder.
Hi, so I'm Thomas Austin, and tonight we'll be presenting the Coach Finder mobile application, which was created by the business students last semester, which are Will North, Chris Keith, Dan Grubb, and Shane Flood. Bryce and I, who's in the crowd right now, we were the two programmers who worked on the application, and we were guided by Professor Sokolowski. The purpose of the Coach Finder mobile application is so a student athlete or an athlete and their parent is able to find a coach for private lessons, and through the mobile applications they are able to find availabilities with the coach. They are able to pay the coach, leave reviews, and apply for different packages.
Okay, so with Coach Finder, there are different users. There are players who are searching for coaches and coaches who are booking sessions with players. So what you're going to see Tom and I do when we demo the app is alternate roles. I'm going to be a player searching for a coach, and Tom is going to be a coach who confirms a coaching session with a player.
We already have the player and coach profile, but if you were to be a first-time user, you were able to enter a valid email address, a valid password, and then from that email address, you're able to confirm a code, and then your profile is created.
Okay, so I'm a player, I'm looking for a coach. When I sign in, I'm taken to this landing screen where if I want, I could click on the link to the Coach Finder website, or I can just dig right into the app and I can begin searching for a coach. The business guys wanted to be able to search based on a sport, baseball or basketball, or also search based on the counties in which the app was going to be rolled out first, like Bucks County, Chester County. If you want, you can just do a search of all of the coaches by not selecting a county, not selecting a sport, and when you do, then you can see all of the coaches that are available, okay, to choose from. If you know you want to pick a soccer coach, you could search based on soccer. Okay, but if you aren't exactly sure, you can just carry out an open search like that, and you can look through all of the coaches. Each coach in the app, you can see their picture, you can see their name, you can see their rating. We have a 5-star rating in the app, the sport that they coach, where they're located, and when you find a coach that looks good to you, you just tap on them, and then you can see a bunch of great detailed information about the coach. Where they went to college, their years playing, their years coaching, a description of what their session plan looks like, some of their athletic highlights, their background, their accreditations, what age group they like to coach. If all of that looks good to you and you want to continue looking into this coach, you can simply tap on the button at the bottom of the screen and you can see the coach's availability. Okay, what days they're available to coach. Now, David Beckham, he's only available on Wednesday at 6 p.m., but maybe me as a player, I'm available then. So I want to continue to find out some more information about him. His reviews. What do other players think about him? So I tap on the button at the bottom of that screen, and there I can see his reviews. They look pretty promising. So if I want to check to see what packages David Beckham has available, I can tap on the button at the bottom of this screen. He has one package, it's called the Pro Package. It's $475, and I can see a description of the package. If that seems reasonable to me as a player, I can tap on it, and I can book with him. So I can input my name, and I can input my age. I'm going to lie here and say 17. And then I can pick a date and a time that I want to book a coaching session with him. Now we have some edits in place on this screen to make sure that the date and the time that I select coincide with the coach's availability. And I think he was available on Wednesday at 6 p.m. So I'm going to make sure that I pick a Wednesday. And I'm going to make sure that I pick 6 p.m. Okay? And when I do, I can request a booking with him. And if I go into the Bookings tab, I can see the booking. There it is, right at the top. Now, the status is pending, and that means that David Beckham hasn't seen the booking yet. He hasn't accepted it. So as a player, I kind of have to wait a little bit, maybe for some communication from David Beckham and some further action by him. Okay? So what I'm going to do is wait for David Beckham's review. So I'm going to sign out, and Tom is going to sign in as David Beckham.
Once I sign in as the coach, I can click on Apply to Coach, or if I'm a first-time user looking to apply to coach, just simply tap on Apply to Coach. Since I already have an account, all the information is already filled in, but if I'm a first-time user, I would put in my sport, my position, my name, my date of birth. All of these input fields are required for first-time users besides this link right here. Here's where you're able to input a profile picture, but it's not required for first-time users just because you want to be able to get your basic information put in. On the next screen, you're able to put in some of your information for users to see, as well as your email address and your phone number for contact information with players and parents, as well as the business owners. With the credentials, as Professor Sokolowski showed from the player's viewpoint, you're able to input some of your playing background, coaching background, as well as some personal preferences. With that biography, you're able to input things such as college, some of your background information, things you've done in the past, and your achievements. With the input fields, as you can see, there are minimum requirements, just so it's not a blank profile. You're able to get some information about the coach. On availability, one of the major focuses from the business guys was that the coaches have complete control over their packages and their availability. For this, I can simply click on the days of the week, and I can choose any day of the week that I want, as well as the times that I'm available. If I click on packages, here I'm able to choose any package that I'd like to create. If I click on create, the package name, price, a little bit of short description, long description, then the session length in minutes. I can also click on the delete button. For this sake, I'm not going to delete it, but I have the option to delete packages, and I can also edit on previous packages. If we go to the booking screen, I can see all the bookings that I've previously completed or that I have in progress. Since Professor Sokolowski was a recent athlete that tried booking with me, I have the option to click on her information, get some background information about her, her package details that she selected, the date and time. If I want to, I can click on accept. The booking is accepted, and if I refresh, it changes the status to in progress. Professor Sokolowski is now going to show the player profile and what the options are after a coach has accepted a profile.
Yeah, so now after a coach has accepted a profile, then a player can pay for the session, and that's what I'm going to illustrate next.
We also have a feature, if the username or password is incorrect, you'll be alerted.
looks good. Thanks, Tom. Okay, so David Beckham has accepted my booking. So as a player, I'm going to go into my bookings screen, and I can see that that booking is in progress. I want to pay for it now. So I just tap into it, scroll to the bottom. There's a button, make payment. I click on the button, and we have the same payment methods available in Coach Finder that we had available in McCaffrey, credit card payments. So go ahead.
As Professor Stokowski puts in the credit card information, as the other guys mentioned, we're currently only accepting credit cards. Some of the credit cards available are Visa, Amex, and Discovery. We're hoping in future releases they were able to implement debit cards as well as other currencies.
So I tap on pay, and the payment has been confirmed. Okay, and now I'm going to sign out, and David Beckham's going to sign back in, and he's going to show you what the next steps would be as a coach.
Once the athlete has paid for the booking and I've accepted it, I see the status for my bookings page is set to paid. I can go in, and once it's paid and the session has been completed, I simply just click on the completed option, and the status has been changed to completed.
Okay, and one last thing that you can do as a player after a session has been completed with a coach, you can go and you can rate the coach. How did he do? Do you want to give him a 1-star, a 5-star? You know, give him a little review that can be available within the mobile app for other players to see then. I'm going to illustrate that next. I think he did an O instead of a 0. That's good. Thanks. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to my bookings again. There is my booking, it's completed. If I scroll down, there's a button that I can tap to leave a review, and we have a 5-star rating here that we implemented. I can choose whatever I wish, and then I can leave a review. Okay, that review has been submitted, so if I go back to the search screen, that'll be reflected in David Beckham's rating, and I can also go and check out that latest review. There it is. Okay, and that is the Coach Finder app. Any questions? Yes.
Is there a message feature? Let's say that you know, you're running late, or you get COVID and you can't make your coaching session.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, and for this first release of Coach Finder, there is no messaging within the app between a coach and a player. That would definitely be something we would want to do in a future release. Yeah, so a lot of the communication between a coach and a player in this first release would have to take place outside of the app, but they have each other's information so they could see. Right here, I can see David Beckham's phone number and email, so if I want to email him, I can email him and have the communication that way, and vice versa. A coach has the same information about a player within the app. Yeah, you're welcome. Yes.
Has there been any discussion about the possibility of uploading background checks? Because if I'm a parent and I'm a guardian and I want to choose a coach that's from me, how do we guarantee that that person is?
Yeah, last fall when the business students first presented their option, they wanted to make sure there was a background check involved. Currently, we don't have a background check uploaded. I believe with their website, if they create one, they'll be able to kind of implement that. Kind of with the profile, when the coach creates it, you're able to see a little bit of their background, but we completely understand the need as a parent to want to know a little bit of information about the coach.
Just to expand on that a little bit, I would just put a disclaimer releasing liability, holding harmless. Coach Finder's not liable for any, misrepresentations or anything like that.
Is there a way for coaches to rate the players? So like I say, you have a
we could simply implement that. We didn't really think about that, and I don't think the business guys really did either, but that's a really good idea.
What are the qualifications for the college athletes who think they're, as coach like summer or something, qualified to be a coach, or do you have to have a professional experience?
Yeah, that would really be up to the business team to decide what the qualifications are. We showed you when Tom signed in. Do you want to sign back in as a coach? We showed you some options to illustrate what your qualifications are. Like, did you pass a coaching course, or are you a certified coach? Those accreditations would be completely up to the business team to decide, and we could include them in the app. Yeah. I think it's next. Yeah, so like right here, you can see past coach course. You want to open that up, and certified private coach, but we could include whatever qualifications the business team would want. Not within the app. Yeah, that would have to be handled outside of the app with the first release. Yeah.
Is there any way for the coach to have, does the coach need to have multiple profiles that they want to coach two sports?
That's a great question too. At the moment, it's one coach, one sport. So yeah, to answer your question, if a coach wanted to coach two sports, they would have to have two profiles. Yeah. Well, great questions. Great questions. I think that's it. Thank you very much. Thanks, Rita. This was so much fun. What's that?
They accept.
Aw, thank you.
So, whoops, excuse me. I want to thank the students that worked on the app. I know how hard they worked and how well they did, and I truly appreciate the time you spent to help implement the business plans of our students. I really love the coordination of the two centers working together, and I hope we can do a lot more, so thank you very much. So now we get to the meat of the evening. So I'd first like to introduce our judges. They represent a very wide variety of employment, interests, and ages, with the ability to give the groups this evening many questions from many different outlooks. I first have Christopher Cordero, who is a Chestnut Hill graduate, a business major. He is vice president of EB Realty Management Corporation, which is a community real estate development firm with a focused vision on new urbanism, transformation, and inclusiveness. He has an MBA in International Business, has project management certification. He is a big brother, which is very, very close to my heart. He is an active Chestnut Hill alumni, and he is a member of our inaugural Center for Business Advisory Council. Kathy Locklear Moulton is also a Chestnut Hill graduate with a BA in Poli-Sci, which is also my degree, and an MS in Organizational Leadership. She is the president of Thomas Wynn Apartments in Wynwood, which is a property management company. She has significant background in the real estate industry. She is the chair of the Chestnut Hill College Board of Directors. And interestingly enough, she has been active with the Girl Scouts for over 20 years. Next, we have Mary Ann Walsh, another Chestnut Hill graduate with the BS in Communications and Computer Technology and an MS in Leadership and Applied Technology. And if you were at our awards presentation earlier this week, she does have an award a scholarship award that she gives to the Media and Communications Department. She is currently the Chief Human Resource Officer at Myonex, which is a global clinical trial solutions provider. She's received numerous awards from colleagues within Clinical Global Supplies and from Chestnut Hill, and she also is a member of the inaugural Center for Business Advisory Council. Next, we have David Schmidling, who has a bachelor's in business administration and management and a finance concentration. He is a Chestnut Hill College 22 grad. He has been wonderful in helping our students intern and providing guidance to them. So it's really great to have alumni from 4 different eras helping all of our students. He is an account manager at Alpine Solutions Group, and he is an avid golfer. And finally, we have Shane Flood. Shane was one of the members of the Fall 2023 group Coach Finder that was the funded business, and you just witnessed the application of that app. So let me introduce our first group. This plan, this group's plan and presentation is different from prior years and different from the other 3. Due to requests that we received this year from Reverend Buck, the CEO of Southern Flames Barbecue, these students worked with him to revise and update his business plan. And not wanting to disclose too much information because they have a great presentation, I introduce Griffin's Consulting Partners. Austin Morgan Jones, Mark Mayombo Kalaya, Kathleen Margaret Kelm, Jacob Conrad Miller, Alexi Ray Murphy, and Ashley Marie Watson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kathleen Kelm, and I'm the chief writer and editor of my firm's 4-month passion project, the Southern Flames Barbecue Business Plan. First, some background. Griffin's Consulting Partners is a business management consulting group with a strong specialization in the field of marketing. We pride ourselves in providing small businesses with opportunities and strategies for growth. In January, Griffin's Consulting Partners began working with Southern Flames Barbecue, a small local restaurant business. Our team of consultants were tasked with developing a business plan as well as a creative marketing strategy to drive growth to the company. Tonight, our consultants would like to present to you the professional guidance provided to Southern Flames, as well as inform you why this up-and-coming barbecue eatery is an amazing investment that you will not want to miss out on, as it is the only barbecue establishment within a 3-mile radius of an area that spends nearly $113 million annually on takeaway meals. To begin, I would like to introduce the mission statement of Southern Flames Barbecue in the words of its founder, Pastor James H. Buck Jr., who is with us here tonight. As you can see here, what sets this restaurant apart from its competitors is its commitment to the ideals of opportunity and societal change. In partnership with the nonprofit A Taste of a Second Chance, the mission of Southern Flames is simply stated: to provide a second chance to disabled veterans, troubled youth, and returning citizens in the form of employment. When provided with the correct guidance and training, these populations prove to create a fiercely dedicated and hardworking workforce. Therefore, in collaboration with the Philadelphia Department of Corrections, a training program has been established in local jails so that incarcerated people may find employment with Southern Flames upon reentry into society. Ultimately, the long-term goal of this company is to open more locations and begin franchising, so that Southern Flames may provide abundant employment opportunities and eventually expand these second chance programs into other cities. Upon investing into the future of Southern Flames, you can make a lasting impact in the creation of a more peaceful, hardworking society. As with any restaurant business, the menu is the key to success. Specializing in the ideals of Southern comfort and community, Southern Flames Barbecue fosters a tasteful and unique menu selection, with each just inspired by Reverend Buck's special family recipes. At this time, I would like to invite the judges to take a look at their sample plates and taste for yourself why Southern Flames has earned a near-perfect food rating on Google Reviews. What you have in front of you is just a small sample of what this menu has to offer. Starting with the meats on your plate, have a taste of the signature ribs, seasoned with dry rub and smoked over hickory and cherry wood for a minimum of 2 to 3 hours. Moving on to the brisket, which is smoked at 190 degrees for a minimum of 13 to 15 hours and seasoned with a Montreal steak dry rub. Followed by the chicken wings, flavored with mesquite dry rubbed and smoked for about 2 hours. The meat selections are followed by 2 popular side dishes, the health-conscious mac and cheese marked by natural flavors that do not sacrifice its great taste, as well as the baked beans, which is a great option for vegetarian customers and meat lovers alike. As you can imagine, Southern Flames serves every barbecue-style dish that a consumer could ask for. This restaurant is committed to giving high-quality food that will exceed your expectations every time. At this time, I would like to introduce my colleague, Ashley Watson, and her research concerning the barbecue industry.
Thank you, Kate. Southern Flames Barbecue stands apart from their competitors with their innovative approach to how they smoke their meats and also their Southern family-style comfort food menu options. The options for ordering include picking up or stopping in to order their food. Customers can also place an order on their app through Uber Eats for delivery. As my colleague Kate mentioned, Southern Flames stands apart from their competition because of their signature family recipes and their homemade sauce. Some things that can potentially impact the business are their hours of operation, the size of their location, the continuously changing technology, and the health and safety codes they need to meet. As earlier mentioned, there is plenty of growth opportunities that Southern Flames Barbecue has and will have in the coming years. One of the biggest opportunities will be expanding to a second location. Although during the last few years since the pandemic, the age of ordering food for pickup has become super popular, the National Restaurant Association has seen an 84% increase in the willingness of customers to go out and eat rather than cook at home. With a second location, this will give customers the opportunity to come and sit down and enjoy some family-style Southern barbecue with their families. Griffin Consulting Partners have also discussed an opportunity to purchase a food truck, which would allow for Southern Flames to serve food all over Philadelphia. Lastly, Southern Flames will need to stay up to date with their current technology and potentially set up a loyalty-based program to keep current customers coming back and to draw in new customers. With the guidance that my firm has provided, we believe that Southern Flames has what it takes to succeed in the restaurant industry. Now I would like to introduce my colleague Jake Miller, who will be discussing our business structure and operations plan.
Thank you, Ashley. The business structure of Southern Flames Barbecue is a sole proprietorship LLC owned and operated by Jennifer and James Buck. The store manager, Rayleah Harris, who runs the day-to-day at the restaurant, which consists of ordering food, managing employees, taking care of catering, and the overall making sure Southern Flames is running efficiently. Karen Jackson is the CPA right now, but is soon to become the CFO of Southern Flames Barbecue. A Taste of a Second Chance is a course for returning citizens. The training program will take between 7 and 10 candidates in a 6-month course capturing all the skills needed for food preparation, safety and sanitation, and management of a barbecue restaurant. Thanks to State Representative Stephen Kingsley, Southern Flames has received 2 grants that will be used to purchase computers, 4 laptops, desktops, and a smartboard for the classroom use. During the 6-month course, the returning citizens will be capturing all the skills needed to work/run a barbecue restaurant. The course will have 8 distinct learning modules. The curriculum, starting with the introduction of barbecue cooking, trainees will learn of the history and the origins of barbecue cuisine, the regional differences in the art, and the importance of quality ingredients. For meat selections and preparations, a lesson will be given on the various cuts of meats as well as working on the meat thermodynamics. Third, the training on smoking techniques will educate recipes on wood selections, smoke and heat management, and the implementation of low and slow cooking methods. To follow on grilling techniques will take place, specifically tips on successfully grilling to achieve a perfect sear. Moving on, students will learn on the various sauces, rubs, and side dishes to create a unique and diverse barbecue menu. Other important training goals is safety and sanitation. At this point, the trainees will be educated on food and safety in the commercial kitchen, including proper storage and handling of raw meats, cleaning and maintenance of tools like grills and smokers, and appropriate hygienic practices to avoid cross-contamination. Lastly, Southern Flames will teach their future employees what it takes to open, manage their own barbecue restaurant one day. Students will learn about menu development, pricing strategy, marketing and promotion, and building a loyal customer base. Now I would like to introduce my colleague Alexa in marketing analysis.
Thank you, Jake. As for Southern Flames Barbecue target population, after extensive research and in accordance with the U.S. Census, Griffin Consulting Partners have found that within the Chestnut Hill area of Philadelphia, around 4% of the population is under the age of 5, 21.3% are 18 and under, and 17.4% are about 65 and older. This leaves more than half of the population between the ages of 19 through 64. Thus, Southern Flames' target population lands within the working class age of Chestnut Hill. Of that population, 48.3% of the population are women and 51.7% are men. This is important because according to statistics, on average, 20% of women are 20% more likely to shop for groceries and cook than men with or without kids. After discussing with Reverend Buck, Southern Flames sees a high amount of visitors between two income households and single millennials. Because of its location inside the market, which offers various kinds of vendors in order to have a more personalized experience with shopping for grocery staples, prepared foods, and on-the-go foods, Southern Flames is more likely to have a higher percentage of women shopping than men found it in the previous statistics. Because a high percentage of Southern Flames customer base stems from the market, we look to reach and gain a higher percentage of Chestnut Hills community and those throughout the neighboring communities as well. To do so, Southern Flames will implement strong marketing and promotional strategies that Griffin Consulting Partners have found it will best fit their needs. Due to the ability to provide for various lifestyles, such as busy, on-the-go, and easy stop-in meals, Southern Flames essentially has an unlimited market potential. However, the customers in which the consulting group feels Southern Flames will be most successful among are those who are college students, parents, or young and middle-aged adults. In reference to Reverend Buck in the financials, the products often seen being purchased are the brisket, ribs, chicken wings, and fried fish with a very slim margin between the best performing in sales. A large portion of these sales come from in-store purchases as opposed to those delivered or catered. A crucial part in selling any product are the customers and understanding what they want from a company they decide to purchase from. According to several statistics, an astounding 96% of customers say that customer service is important to their choice of loyalty to a brand. Moreover, 73% of companies with above average customer experience perform better financially than their competitors. This puts a high emphasis on customer service. To piggyback on customer loyalty, 70% of Americans also believe it is either somewhat or very important for companies to make the world a better place, with 77% of consumers being motivated to purchase from such companies. Southern Flames does an exceptional job in including and giving back to its community through programs such as their nonprofit, A Taste for a Second Chance, and many other community inclusive activities. Last, to touch on the customer activity, customers who visit are typically purchasing the product directly for consumption. However, there are a few who purchase the product for a large group of people, whether it be a family dinner or a large gathering. Features customers may look for include that of a variety of options, the ability to cater those with food allergies or health-conscious food choices, as well as their overall experience with the business. In having the ability of being flexible among these various factors, Southern Flames will be able to optimize growth and success of the business. I would now like to pass the mic over to my colleague Mark, who will be explaining the marketing strategy.
Thank you, Alexa. Today I'm here to propose our marketing strategy for Southern Flames Barbecue that we believe will bring this business to the forefront of the Philadelphia food scene. The emergence of social media has given rise to new opportunities and facilitated the growth of digital marketing, influencer culture, and online communities. How many times have you guys taken a picture at a new restaurant and thought to yourself, people definitely care what I'm eating right now? Well, I'm here to tell you they probably don't. But at Southern Flames, we invite you to take as many pictures as you like while you enjoy our one-of-a-kind menu and home-style taste. And if you do take a picture, make sure to tag us on social media. During the semester, we enjoyed working closely with the Southern Flames team to create a social media strategy that would help the restaurant attract more customers and drive sales. We recognize that social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter provide an excellent opportunity for businesses to connect with potential customers and build brand recognition. Social media advancement was one of our focuses this semester, and that we believe that by continuing to create eye-catching advertisements, we will not only be able to attract customers in the Chestnut Hill area, but the entire city of Philadelphia. We believe the next large step in our marketing strategy is website optimization. With an easy-to-understand website, customers will be able to enjoy the convenience of sending their orders directly to the kitchen and choosing when they'd like to pick them up. As Southern Flame Barbecue looks to expand its reach and grow its customer base, it's important to recognize the value of building strong roots in its original place of origin, which is the community of Chestnut Hill. And this semester, we identified that the community events and outreach can be a powerful tool for us to achieve this goal. For example, this semester we had the opportunity to connect Southern Flames with the Griffin's PR team to become a sponsor for the Gift of Life charity event that took place here on campus. Southern Flames graciously donated numerous gift cards to the event, which ultimately increased brand awareness and while supporting a good cause. In another event we're fortunate to facilitate this semester, Southern Flames partnered directly with the Chestnut Hills men's lacrosse team to cater their senior day meal, which in all accounts was a huge success and a potential tradition in the making. Events like these strengthen the brand's relationship with the community and gives us a chance to promote and share the brand's mission as it continues to grow. We believe the next step in marketing this brand starts behind the counter. The restaurant will see hundreds of customers a day, some returning and a first time for many. A customer relationship management system is a tool that can help a business like Southern Flames Barbecue to manage and track data from customers, allowing them to identify marketing opportunity and sales data. And according to HubSpot, restaurants that incorporate a CRM system see a 29% increase in sales in just 6 months. During the semester, our consulting group also focused on the importance of a strong logo design for Southern Flames Barbecue. A logo is not just a symbol or an image. It represents the brand's identity and values, and it's often the first thing customers notice when they walk into the restaurant. So by incorporating the original attributes of the Southern Flames logo, designed by Reverend Buck himself, I was able to design a modernized logo that we believe reminds customers the original mission statement of the Southern Flames brand, which is the taste of a second chance. With the relentless efforts of Reverend Buck and his amazing family, along with the help of the Griffin Consulting Partners, Southern Flames Barbecue is poised to become one of the most unique and upcoming restaurants in Philadelphia. And by utilizing the marketing strategies, we believe Southern Flames will have no problem attracting new customers, growing brand awareness, and achieving the success we believe it deserves. And at this time, I would like to introduce my colleague Austin and his research regarding the financial analysis of this business.
Thank you, Mark. And as my colleague discussed, I'm going to be going over the financial summary and discussing the the financial outlook of this business, Southern Flames Barbecue. So first, I'd like to allude that this business has been in business for about 3 years. And in this first 3 years, 2022 was actually the first year of profitability, with a 13.5% increase in revenue. Out of that 13.5% increase, $207,000 of that was made in sales, taking away $120,000 in cost of goods sold and $90,000 in expenses. The company finished with a net operating income of about $30,000 in its first year of profit. And I'd like to also allude to the fact that this company, being a company in its third year, making profit is a big advancement when most companies in this sector typically don't break even until the fifth year or start making profit in that fifth year. And I'd also like to take advantage to say that the current ratio is 23.5 for every dollar of cash spent. Next slide. All right, so our mission for growth, expansion, and increasing revenues is listed into two investment options. So our first option would be the acquisition of a second brick-and-mortar location. This brick-and-mortar location would be estimated to bring in a growth of about 5 to 7% yearly. And with lease opportunities that have been looked at through the years of 2028, one of the lease opportunities that we looked at was a location that was very specific to our demographic for our target market. And that target market was, again, our millennial base. And the biggest concentration of that target market was located to be in Manioc. And one of the locations that we decided to look at was also about 8,200 square feet. Looking at the second option would be the acquisition of a customized food truck. This customized food truck would be very specific to barbecue food services. The average revenue brought in by a food truck of this nature would be about $250,000 a year, according to Cloud Kitchens, and an approximate annual growth of about 20%. I'd also like to say that the average profitability for something like this would be about 25 to 28% yearly. So I'd like to draw your attention to the screen here and looking at our analysis of the food truck market and these graphs. In the food truck market, it's stated that every year it brings in an approximate revenue of about $3.9 billion. And out of that $3.9 billion, I'd like to stress that 26% of that is specifically to barbecue tailored foods. And per the Restaurant Times, more than 60% of millennials favor this type of food, and favor this type of food over brick and mortar establishments. And if you look at the current graph here as well, with the current increase in market revenue, again, 2018 to 2019 with the COVID pandemic saw a pretty drastic drop-off from 2019 back down, and then since the COVID year, it has seen a steady increase of about 7.5% growth per year, which is pretty staggering in terms of the numbers in comparison to a brick and mortar. I'd also like to bring in the fact that the average startup cost for a food truck would be between the ranges of $50,000 to $125,000, depending on the size of the truck, customizations of certain barbecue food services, and other extenuating factors. In comparison to a brick and mortar, which would be the brick and mortar location that we looked at, which would be about 8,000 square feet and bring in a lease or cost a lease of about $10,000 monthly, including renovation costs. And the Griffin Consulting Partners feel that with the market research we've done and the analysis based on the profitability and just the greatest potential for profitability in the shortest period of time, we feel that our recommendation would be that option 2 is the best investment. Number of the reasons that we feel that the food truck would be the best investment option was that, again, with the current economic climate and inflation and higher cost of goods sold, gas, the fact that groceries have gone up almost 50%, we feel that this is also a great convenience fee and thing that we need to hit on hard, because the amount of money people are having to spend just to enjoy the same things we used to is starting to get to the point where people don't want to go shopping for their own goods. They want to go to somewhere where it's quick, easy access, and you're in and out. We'd also like to draw attention to the fact that our target market, as we spoke of, was millennials, and 60% of those of our target market is centered to a quick and easy access and wanting a very quick turnaround of food and service. Again, we're also looking at seasonal opportunities and good timing, whether it may be the few months in the fall that bring in the highest grossing revenue for most food trucks, fall festivals, and further events to be able to bring the truck to locations and be mobile with that growth. Again, short time frame to deliver products and services, and I want to highlight the two biggest key things here that bring us to the recommendation of a food truck over an established second location would be the fact that it's the lowest startup cost and has the lowest operational cost based on the other one. And we'd also like to say that it's significantly lower than a brick and mortar. Again, bringing us the greatest profitability in the shortest period of time. So for investors, that's the greatest return on investment in our company. So in order to expand the growth of Southern Flames Barbecue, we, the Griffin Consulting Partners, feel that the loan investment of $200,000 would be sufficient to fund further growth in this company. And also to take note, yielding with Reverend Buck and his discretion, also negotiable on a nominal percentage of future sales as an incentive for investment. Next slide. And it was just that. And then will you support Southern Flames Barbecue expansion plan? And thank you.
I would like to open the floor to questions. Yes.
My question is a little on the financial side, better than, but you talked about the numbers and $70,000, $30,000 roughly which is really good because for restaurant business. My question was, do you know if there's any room for growth with the cost of goods as far as the food cost? Like one of the margins on food cost.
So the margin on food cost, I mean, so just touching back on your question, so again, like the cost of margin for food costs in an establishment where we'd be at a brick and mortar and how much more we typically have, a restaurant would typically have to charge in a dining setting where people are sitting down, taking in that environment, whereas opposed to when you're at a food truck and it's a quick and easy stop, the cost is going to have to come down a little bit with the terms of just again, how quickly we have to put things out and with the number of employees and just.
I understood what I'm saying is, let's say margins are 30% for food, right?
Right.
Inside the restaurant. Why not keep the same margins for food truck?
Yeah.
So that way you are making that much more.
That's a great comment, and I think that's definitely something to take a look at.
So during the training itself, it would not be paid, but upon reentry into society, when they actually start working at the location, we are looking to pay a livable wage. We are in talks with Temple University to start a program with them as well, and they are looking to start at $18 an hour. If Reverend Buck would like to comment on that, I see you standing.
Thank you. Just to answer or to piggyback on Kate's response, we have secured actually a contract through the work of this wonderful team with the Linfest organization, which we have 7 returning citizens that will be coming tomorrow to Southern Flames for employment. And so the training program actually starts tomorrow. And as Kate said, the Linfest organization is actually paying their salary. And so we are providing the 6 months of training, and we're going to be a site. So that's already in the works. As a matter of fact, that's already in fruition. That's already happening.
What is your plan for expanding the mission of the business and highlighting that in your marketing materials?
Of course. So when we first started working with Reverend Buck, when he was first invited to our classroom, we were all surprised to hear of the mission of Southern Flames Barbecue because they have no means to communicate that message with their consumer audience, right? So that was one of the goals that we established at the beginning of the semester, was to help them communicate that goal. Some of the ways we believe that could happen is obviously through the use of social media, there are also other charitable projects that Southern Flames does as well, like such as they bring some of their food to the unhoused population of Philadelphia, and we would make sure that that is captured by social media.
Well, it sounds like this is an extremely beneficial impact, business and project for, not just the business, but also for the community. Understanding that you got, great support from Senator for initial grant funds as a part of the marketing plan to kind of move that needle a little further. Have you thought about maybe getting some of those formal endorsements and utilizing those to get more support from public officials for additional grants? And it sounds like from the private industry, the LendFest organization, that's already happening. To maximize on those efforts to expand on those opportunities to have more grants.
Yeah, of course. So obviously right now our public endorsement comes from Representative Stephen Kinsley, who runs an organization. One of his main areas of focus is criminal justice reform to the system. So we have great support from him there, and I anticipate as this business grows, as we open more locations, we would start to work with those local representatives just to get more endorsements and stuff like that. Yes?
Just to jump on what the professor said about the profit margins. One thing, I'm a regular at the restaurant as well, and I really think put out the margin of food. Also, I do a lot of the food trucks and different types of, food truck days, and people want smaller amounts of food. They don't want to carry the larger amount. But for what he charges for his prices, if you get this price at the exact same price point, maybe 30% to 40% smaller, people would still pay in bulk because how good the food is matched to what they want to get and what they want to walk away with for the price. So you could actually bump that profit margin even farther with the food truck if you just manage the size of the actual output.
Hi, this is more comment than anything. First of all, great presentation. You guys did a fantastic job. Food is wonderful. I don't know how much more can you even need about this. Like, it tastes it. It's very good. The third comment I'd like to make is to reiterate, we have the most, if not all, seniors, is maybe work with Rita in the upcoming year, how we can incorporate this type of working group into marketing mission here at college. Promote it that way. Again, you did a fantastic job, and there's more work that we can do more together as a college and students here to bring whatever we can do forward in helping college attract more students, attract better programs, more adult students, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so as Professor introduced to us, we are obviously a more different group than a typical senior seminar for the business program here, but we have been providing feedback to both Professor Borzillo and our dean and the Office of Business Development here. Our feedback on our project overall, like what we would change, what we do different, and I think if I can speak for the rest of the group, we would all say that this has positively impacted our senior year, so we would like to make this an official program for business students going forward. Yes.
And yeah, first of all, I'll piggyback off that. Great job, guys. This was really thought out plan for sure. I do just kind of want to ask, how did you guys get started in working with Reverend Buck? What gave you this idea? If you could kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Right, so I briefly mentioned how Reverend Buck came into our classroom one day, and this was before any of us had groups for senior seminar yet, and just, if I can speak for everybody here, when we heard him speak about his mission and how he was having trouble communicating it to his demographics, I think we were all moved by that message, and it really motivated us to want to participate in this project. So from there on, it was easy. All we had to do was send Reverend Buck a text, and next thing we know, we're all at the restaurant. We're all throwing ideas around, and so.
If I can add to that as well, being a student at Chestnut Hill and the fact that this has been our community for the last 4 years, hearing that we could help and have such a big impact on especially on a local business somewhere that's home to us, especially me for the last 4 years. So I just the impact that we thought we could have on not only the school, ourselves, and the community, we thought was also a big factor of why we wanted to join in and do this. So I just wanted to touch on that.
So one more. Again, you guys did a great job here. This is a home run. The food tastes great, and it sounds like you really put a lot of thought into every aspect of it. Question on the options 1 and 2. In your collaboration with the Reverend, were those options given to you, or were you tasked with developing the options to present to him?
So when we first started working with Reverend Buck, Reverend obviously knew that he wanted to expand the business, right? But the only idea in his head initially was to do a second, like, standing location, as in, like, you go in and you sit down and you eat. It was actually Austin who came to us, the group, with the main truck of the food truck idea, and we pitched it to the Reverend, and of course he loved our pitch for it, and it just went from there. You would like to comment?
Yeah, no, just again, like the amount of growth that the Reverend has seen with his company in the last few years, and the constant demand for just another location somewhere else to sit down because of the size of the current location, and just the fact that we're trying to expand. Initially, again, it was a great idea to go with a second location, but we thought that based on where the company sits at now, and the current revenues and where the economic climate sits, we thought that the best way to bring in more revenue and the best way to grow the company would be to do something to bring in, to generate profits more immediately, as opposed to maybe a longer term investment of getting a second location. So I thought that was the best outcome for us, to bring in more profit and to help grow the company as quickly as possible.
Great. I can add a suggestion. Being in the commercial real estate development world, hospitality world, developing restaurants. Another option that's kind of in the middle ground of a brick and mortar standalone structure and food truck is food hall stall. So something like a Reading Terminal Market station or Ardmore Market. There's plenty of options that can achieve the minimal startup cost and increased efficiencies of cost of goods sold through a food stall, and not having those increased capital costs of building out a full brick and mortar.
No, I think that's a great idea. That's definitely something to take a note of, because even with his current location as well in the Chestnut Hall Market, it's actually almost a little bit of a setting like that. But again, the initiative to go for that second location was because of the size and just the availability of like seating and just having that just that personalized effect of that restaurant, just because, again, it's in such an open setting, how you describe. So that kind of middle ground is a great idea, and I think it's actually where we're at right now. We're trying to go to that more established location, or if not, the food truck. So no, I like that. I appreciate that feedback.
Thank you very much for making sure that there was a vegetarian plate. I really do appreciate that. Vegetarians, a lot of us started out as meat eaters, and we're a growing group. So a recommendation that I could make would be to include some Impossible product, because one thing that vegetarians often miss is barbecue, and that ability to tap into our inner caveman and pick something up and eat it. So there are Impossible products, and the nice thing about them is that the price has been stable relatively, even though the popularity has increased. So just a small suggestion.
Yeah, that's an excellent comment, because as it stands, most of the vegetarian options, if not all of them, are just with our side dishes, like the baked beans, the mac and cheese, and so forth. So thank you for that comment. Okay, thank you, everyone.
I'm going to start. Our next presentation is Roommate. We have Diego Eduardo Cabrera, Dominic Anthony Gargan, okay, and Christian Justin Torres, who will present their very innovative business plan.
Hello, Sharks. Sorry, wrong judges. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thanks a lot for being here. My name is Diego Cabrera, and alongside Dominic Gauguin and Christian Torres, we're going to present our project. First up, some background. Maybe all of us can agree with the first statement. As college students, we are often looking for the cheapest option to pursue our education. I mean, loans are not a good thing right now. But one of the major expenses in college is housing. And what people tend to do, especially upperclassmen, is looking for off-housing accommodation to reduce the cost the more as possible. So in the case of Chestnut Hill, I don't know if the judges can relate, the main location for the off-campus accommodation is Menian. Menian is a neighborhood that is around 10 to 15 minutes away from school, and most people tend to live there. Menian predominantly has houses, so what people do is move with the roommates that share the same schedule or a very similar schedule. So basically you have 5 people in the same house that share the same schedule, that play the same sport. And as a senior myself, I'll be living in Menian my next semester. And looking for housing accommodation has been a journey, a really hard journey. In case of looking for accommodation, it's hard to connect with the landlord. It's hard to look on only one application that has the niche of the market. And it's hard to, after you connect with the landlord, to make sure that they accept college students. They don't want college students maybe for the parties, maybe for the risks that college students have. So, and after you connect with them, it's very hard to keep reaching them and have a stable connection with them. So apart from that, after you get the house, I had the opportunity to live off campus for a couple of summers since I'm not from the US. So when I stay here, what me and my roommates have done is that every time there's a payment or every time there's need to establish communication with the landlord, one person is in charge of every responsibility. So basically, that person is in charge of collecting the money the due date, and since we are all trying to work and trying to have their own activities, it's very hard to achieve those collection money, and also it's very hard for every one of the roommates to communicate with the landlord. So based on that story, we gather some problems that we identified. The first problem is reaching the landlord. As I mentioned before, it's very hard to establish a communication since landlord often has other means of business. They do the renting on the side. Also, the second problem is keeping a stable communication. After you connect with the landlord, it's very hard to keep communicating with them, as I mentioned before. And finally, the responsibility to one person. So this group and I agree on these problems, and we wanted to see if more people agree with the same problems that live off campus.
So from our problem, we had wondered if other students or if other college students felt the same way. So therefore, we had come up with a survey that we sent out to all the students in the local area, which I asked questions such as, what school do you attend and how many roommates do you have? And from 35 participants, 80% of the students were from Chestnut Hill, while the other 20 were from Jefferson. So from the survey, we had picked out three of the most important questions to show the information from. So firstly, on a scale from 1 to 10, how hard was it to connect with the landlord? And around 55% had chosen 8, which therefore showed that they found extreme difficulty connecting with their landlord. The next question we chose was, do you agree with the following statement? Only one of the housemates has full contact with the landlord, and we received around 60% strongly agreed, which is around 22 people out of the survey. And lastly, we chose, do you agree with the statement, only one of the housemates is in charge of the bill, and the rest just give the money to that person? And again, it was 60% strongly agreed with this statement.
So this is where we came up with the idea of Roommate. So Roommate is an LLC that is in the market of rental housing that is specifically there to target college students, specifically Chestnut Hill, Jefferson, and other colleges within the local area. Roommate's mission statement is that we strive to provide a space that facilitates the process of connecting homeowners with customers seeking to rent a space for a specific period. The goal is to create new niche in the market where the procedure of renting for a long period is more convenient for us. So the target audience would be college students in the area, such as Arcadia, CHC, Cabrini, Newman, St. Joe's.
So before the target, we're gonna introduce the idea. Based on the problems that we presented earlier, we came up with the idea of an app service and web page that provides first a house search feature that basically you can control and filter depending on your needs. First off is the filter of the area, for example, Manion. After that, you can filter in whether you want 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 2 bathroom, depending on the needs that you have. Also, there's a price range feature that we're gonna include in the house search. The second feature is a medium of communication. It basically gives a chat where you can connect directly with the landlord. Well, as I mentioned before, the landlord has other job, sometimes, most times. So it's hard for them to differentiate between their normal life and the rental industry. So for that, we are trying to include in our app a medium of communication that connects you directly with the landlord. And finally, the payment method. So basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a payment method that allows you to pay through the app. That includes a payment divide. The divide, what allows you to do is basically it gives you the freedom of paying whenever you want. I mean, before the due date, of course, and obviously you have the freedom to pay through your phone or through any accommodation or any means you prefer.
So like I said, the target audience will be special schools such as Arcadia, Cambria, Chestnut Hill, Newman, Rosemont, Jefferson, and St. Joe's. So we have a 4-year plan that consists of what we need for the startups, which would be app developers, and then initial market plan and contracts. So the app developers would be more outsourced. We don't have the ability to do that ourselves, so we would have to outsource that, and we need funds for that. The initial marketing plan would be targeting the college students. Excuse me. And the other Philadelphia schools. So with year 1, we start locally, and then we create the marketing plan, which is going to be based off of mostly social media. And year 1 is mainly just going to be worrying about the app development and the specific contract that we're going to have.
Sorry, I was supposed to make the quotation of the contract. The contract is very important because the moment that we accept payment through the app, we respond to liabilities to the homeowner. So basically, the contract, what we're trying to do is establish it within the app, and the contract will basically establish a 50% liability for the house owner, and a 50% liability for our company in terms only of collecting the money from the tenants. So basically what we're gonna do is we're going to only take a percentage of the initial amount. So if you know, many of you live off campus, you know that includes a fee where you can pay in case there's any facility damage. So we're not involved in that fee. So that is going to be also established in the contract. We're going to be basically a third party that is going to do back-to-back operations. So when we receive the money, we take the commission and we give it to the landlord. And contract is a very important part because of the liabilities.
So as Dominic stated before, well, similar to Coach Finder and the McCaffrey to Go, we'll be using the school's resources for the first 6 months through the app development and through the help of a contract, both between Professor Sikowski and her team for the development of our application and website, and through Professor Brazillo, who's not only the head of the business department, but also an attorney, so she'll be helping us create the legal documents for the contract. And year one marketing plan is just basically based off social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, any of that, really. So like I said before, we're not really going to have many expenses our first year. It'll really only be after the first 6 months, once we have the app and webpage up and going. We're going to have $20,000 budgeted towards the upgrades to keep the maintenance of the webpage and application. And so after our first year, we'll be incurring some fixed costs. Our first fixed cost will be a consultant attorney, and they'll be retainers, so they'll be paid yearly, and they'll only be paid during their they'll only be paid for their consultant hours. We also have a insurance expense, as Diego stated before. We're going to be accountable for liability, so we need that backup in case tenants miss payments. And marketing costs, just promotion through other realtors and just social media.
So year two would actually be when we start the actual application and the app launch, which is where we would target the Philadelphia area schools. And then our advertisement will mostly be done online, and then we would also be doing direct marketing, where we would actually be going to the schools, trying to get the connections with the school where they would actually use our app. So, and then year two, the budget is about $22,000, a little bit more. And that's going to be a little more than the first year, because we're going to be using money for ads and then different types of advertisement deals, and then the attorneys, and then on insurance. And then year three is our plan is to expand to a little bit wider of a region and just not the Philadelphia area, maybe go a little bit bigger. And then the budget is mainly going to be around the same as year two.
So basically, in year 4, what we're gonna do is focus on the universities that we are already established. So basically, what we're trying to do is, to that target that we have already established, we're gonna throw a really hard marketing campaign. So that's gonna target mainly those colleges. So basically, that's why we introduced the fixed cost. It's not gonna change much. So we have the insurance, the consulting attorney, and then the means of advertisement. So our total expenses, are gonna be $20,000 the first year, $22,193 the second year, and so on. That makes a total of $101,579. That's projection, obviously. So the big question is, how are we making revenue? So basically, as I mentioned before, we're gonna charge a commission. So every time that someone makes the deal through our app, we're gonna charge a commission of 12% on the initial cost. So basically, on the first rent, we're gonna charge 12%. After that, quarterly, so 4 times a year, we're gonna charge a fee of 3%. That fee will only involve the payment of the rent. And finally, we're gonna make money through advertisement. So this is our expected income. The way we did the expected income was that, first off, as Christian mentioned at the beginning, one of the questions of the survey was, how many people do you live with? So we took that. We realized that 77% of the people that answered the survey live with at least 3 roommates. So what we did, we took an average of the cost of a house of 3 bedrooms or more. So basically, we realized that the cost is around $2,000, so we put $2,000 flat. After that, you charge a commission for the first year, the 12% commission. That's 12% of $2,000. After that, you have to take the 4 commissions of 3%. That will also add the same amount as $12,000 if you add it up. And finally, The way we make income is that we have projected households, so projected households that are going to be through our app. So basically, for the second year after the app is launched, we expect at least to have 50 households. If we meet that expectation, we're going to make around $24,000. In year 3, we expect to have 100 households. If we meet that expectation, we're going to have around $48,000. And finally, by year 4, we are trying to get a goal of 150 households, and we meet that expectations, we will get $72,000. That's only due to the commission and without taking into consideration the marketing. So the total will be $144,000, which, if you remember the expenses, will make a profit by the 4th year. So yeah, thank you. Questions, please. Yeah, Tom?
You spoke about 50% liability.
Yes.
How are you going to make sure people pay for your app? Like, if the landlord is going to pay you to his house and get people out, but if you don't get paid, then how is your app set up?
Well, first off, I don't think it's legal to kick people out. I don't know. Maybe Professor Bersillo can help us with that. But basically, what we are accounted for is the pain of the tenants. So the people that live there have to pay. And as the contract stated, we only are accountable for 50% of the liability. That's why we need insurance. So basically, if the tenant doesn't pay, we need to get other means to try to get the payment out of them. But in the meantime, we have to insure the landlord that he's going to receive the money. So that's why we have the insurance to get at least 50% of the money back to the landlord from the insurance. Yeah, Daniel. So basically, it's only for house accommodation. So basically, you look for houses depending on your needs. If, for example, you are planning to live with say, for instance, you are looking for a house for 2 or maybe a 1-bedroom, or if Tom is looking to live with Luke or Nige, they can look for 3 bedrooms. So you can filter, and after the filter, the first feature, that was the search for the house, will give you options. And also you can accommodate it by price. So if your price max is $2,000, you just filter it.
And my second question is, how are they going to be able to look closely on the
Pardon my English, but what's listings?
how landlords put their houses up that they are for rent, that like someone who works college can do.
So there's many app and web services such as Zillow. What that allows you to basically portray your house in the app. You take pictures, you say the price, you say a little description of the house, and you just post it up there for people to see. So that will be a variable that will be completely free. So the thing is, what separates us from apps like Zillow, for instance, is that it's for posting a house under a roommate. You will have to agree on first the contract, and second that the customers are going to be college students. That's how we solve the thing of landlords not wanting college students in their house.
That's pretty difficult here.
Yeah.
But have you thought about fail-safes? Because it would be a cash handling between 2 different parties. So we would want to make sure that there was some sort of fail-safe that take place, like having a server or something down those lines, just in case of
So
you'd need
that.
have workers in it, now one person is gonna take damage. So here, you have the same thing, you have one person who can't handle it, but are you willing to look at how those moving don't look at that? So it's a builder's law on one person, so.
That,
To answer that question, so we did mention that one of our competitive advantages against like an Airbnb or a Zillow.com or any of those is the ability to split the payment through the app. So say, like you just said, there's multiple roommates. One person will only be responsible for their portion of that. They could just pay that to the landlord directly through the app, and then the other roommates could follow suit.
Okay, that has some tight constraints on that, because you didn't have, John and Mike pay,
I mean, yeah, obviously it would be before the, yeah.
they're waiting to play, and then just will be when that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it would be within the terms of the contract, so.
to touch on that, sorry, it will be stipulated in the contract any extra fees for late payments. So yeah.
Very good presentation. Thank you very much. So I guess a question and a comment. So my question is, I'm still not clear what the benefit is to the renter. So if I have a renter that's a middle-aged female, right, and I'm putting that against 3 college boys coming in to rent my house, why should I go with the 3 college boys as opposed to the middle-aged female with a full-time job?
Well, so to touch on that, basically, we're targeting areas specifically that are around college students. So that's why we mention Menion as our point of reference, and that's why we mention schools like St. Joe's and Jefferson that are not part of the SEPCHI. So basically, we are targeting mainly people that has a house on those college towns, college areas, and yeah. It comes with liabilities, obviously, but that's what we're trying to deal with trying to get rid of a little bit of the liabilities, which will make the landlord back up the operation if they see college students.
That makes sense. Just one other comment. I would look at those attorney fees, because having only $2,000, most good attorneys charge about $600 an hour on retainer. So I would just take a look at those costs.
Yeah, we know that the cost, we actually look it up, and it's very expensive, and it's something to take into consideration, but we realize, we rely, a lot into the contract that is established, so that's why the fees are low, because we are trying to invest the most money in a well-established contract that have everything.
I have 2 questions, if you don't mind. Thank you. My first question is, why do you feel that you need to take on any liability for being a vehicle to help people collect their rent?
So I will say that will separate us from the already established application. So basically, CELO is already established. And CELO, what they do is basically they just give you the feature of the home search. Sorry. And a lot of people connect through CELO already. So how would you throw an app out there or a company out there when the market is already so competitive? So we have to give a little edge to the company. So that's why we decided to take on the liabilities and focus exclusively on the market of college students. That's our...
I like that you're trying, thank you, by the way, for your explanation. I like that you're trying to come up with a value differentiator, but you're not making enough money to do that. So I would caution you to examine the question of taking on any liability. If it were me, I would put a disclaimer in the contract to say we accept no responsibility, and then you're a lot safer. My second question is that I didn't see anything in your marketing plan about reaching out to all of the landlords. And what is your plan for that, and how do you propose to reach out to 50-plus mom and pop landlords?
I mean, we can reach out to the market. I mean, we could look up ourselves, who's available, who's renting, and we could personally try getting their contact info and trying to reach out to them through direct marketing. We could try it that way. That's really all I can think of for that.
If I may, sorry, I think we, in the work, we put down that some of the money marketing, and we made that divide, that some of the more money is going to marketing deals. Some of those deals will target real estate companies that already have the contact with the homeowners, so they can reach that audience. But our main goal is to reach, obviously, college students, because if the market shifts that way, it will be, like, it will basically attract the homeowners, or at least that's the way we see it.
So do you guys plan to, I mean, as you plan to take on these different properties year by year, going from 50 to 100 to 150 properties, do you guys have a plan in place to hire more employees, or will it just be you guys trying to do pretty much the footwork?
I mean, we're going to try, as starting with us, and if business is a success and we need to hire more people, we will, but we're just going to start with 3 of us.
And that's why we invest a lot in the app, because we're trying to automate it as much as possible, so we rely on less employees as possible.
Hi, great presentation, guys. Question, do any of you have any experience in servicing landlords or tenants, or have you spoken with any landlords or brokers or managers who may be able to give you some words of wisdom as you go through the process?
Yeah, I would definitely say we all, or at least 2 of us, have some personal experience with dealing with landlords in the past and stuff. And I mean, it's always been tricky for us personally, so probably just use that as our, just like our inspiration to just continue what we're doing.
So obviously we have the point of view of the students if we have lived through it first place, but for example, in my case, my mom and dad, they rent on the side, so they buy houses and rent them on the side, so they establish a business in the Dominican Republic. So my mom helped me a lot through the liabilities, and I ran through her the idea, and she told me, obviously she works, she has a different job apart from that, and she told me that she will die for someone to cover those liabilities for her and someone to deal with the tenants for her, and since she has a lot of things on her plate, so that's what kind of another point of view that we try to look at. Any other questions?
I apologize. You guys are doing a great job answering these really difficult questions, so thank you for bearing with us. Did you want any money to cover salaries so that you get through to year 4 when you're cash flowing?
Can you repeat, sorry?
Did you want to include money in your request for salaries for yourselves?
We didn't thought about that at the beginning. Obviously, we're counting that as a business, you usually don't make money for the first 3 years. We actually have a structure there that you can see the responsibilities and how they are divided. And also to be a partner, which we're trying to be split equally in the partnership, you have to have initial investments. So after the 4th year, we're trying to go for higher numbers to try to make up for that. But at first, we are trying to sacrifice the first 3 years.
Earlier in the presentation, you said that you're going to charge a service fee. Where is that fee going to? Like, when the people are going out, like, whoever's renting is like paying the landlord. You say you guys are going to charge a fee. Who will be taking that fee?
Well, the company. So it's basically 3% of the rent. So if you pay monthly $2,000, it will be at 3% of the $2,000. So basically, that all is revenue for the company. So we didn't want to charge monthly because that will push people away if we start charging so much money, and they will tend to use other apps like Zillow that are already established. So that's why we make the 3% payment quarterly. So it's not too much, but it all is revenue for the company.
my initial point, I would put into, if you're going to go to the route of getting investors, definitely put in salary for yourself. Because the majority of small businesses fail due to the fact that people that run them fail. If you don't have any money, you can't do it. You got to try and find something that you can second job, you can't afford to eat. So make sure that you put something in yourself so that you can put it back into the company.
Thank you for the comment. That's a good, really good. Thank you. Yeah.
So like stated before, our competitive advantage really is the method of payment. I mean, Airbnb basically is just a house locator in a renting application, which is similar to ours, and same thing with Zillow, it's just a house search application. Ours, like our competitive advantage is basically it's a combination of like all the methods and just all in one, so it's just easy accessibility, really.
The way to separate yourself is just to make yourself separate. So take yourself away from the away from you, and just have people that want to partner with you who are willing to rent their houses to college students. So that way those houses aren't on sale. Those houses aren't going to be on Redfin or house or any other type of real estate MLS system, multiple system service. So, and if you can create partnerships with the section schools and say, hey, this is what we'd like to do, is really start an establishment for housing for college students, and then that will separate you and give you your own niche, and then you won't have to worry about payments or, and very well be able to take out part that, the liability piece.
Yeah, thank you for that. We in our year 2 plan, once we get the application and website up and running, our goal is to expand within the SEPSHE schools and into the schools around Manayunk as well, such as St. Joe's and Jefferson.
And to finally touch a little bit on that, you mentioned that, I think in our plan we mentioned, that we are trying to target college and universities itself, like directly. So an idea that we put in the Word document that we didn't include in the PowerPoint was like to make deals, like exchange deals. For example, for instance, if you are willing to let us go to your campus, talk a little bit, show the idea, we can advertise your university in the app or the web services. So it's in the, sorry we didn't include it in the PowerPoint. But.
Right, yeah, this was what I'm talking about, is marketing specifically for those types of schools in college areas, that people who are living now, they all know that I live in my house, I'm going to be renting it to 3 college students, 4 college students, whatever the case may be. And that could be like their own building, because it's definitely that's something we did, not just in this college down here, but across the United States as well.
That's why our mission is trying to establish a niche in the market, because we think that it's a industry, especially college student, that is not very well helped. So that's why. Thank you.
Our next group, in some ways you could say, is very similar to McCafferty to Go. They looked at an issue within the college and said, how can we solve a problem? So I present the Griffin's Nest. So I present Nigel Anthony Houghton, Connor Reagan, and Anthony Colby Seneca.
So good evening, everyone, students, faculty, judges. My name's Connor Reagan. This is Nigel Houghton, and that's Colby Seneca. The 3 of us are athletes, and for our business plan, we wanted to reinvest into our school and provide funding for our athletic fundraising account. So therefore, we invented the Griffin's Nest.
So the problem at hand, like Connor mentioned right before this, we are each student athletes. When we travel to different universities and colleges for games, we notice that successful athletic programs
are represented by other student athletes that wear their campus apparel around campus pridefully. Right now at Chestnut Hill College, students and athletes only are allowed to purchase team gear seasonally. Along with that, Chestnut Hill Bookstore has only a limited amount of apparel that offers no variety of colors.
So what is the Griffin's Nest? What are our goals? What are our mission? What's our purpose? So the Griffin's Nest is a hybrid athletic sports apparel company run through the school that offers student athletes, academic students, alumni, parents, and prospective students to come in, gives them a multiple store option to buy athletic apparel group. So our goals. Our main goal is to help fund the athletic department so that they're able to give out money safer to sports programs so they do not have to do any extra fundraising, any sales, or any extra stuff, just perform and be a student. As well as boost Chestnut Hill pride, build our brand loyalty, and create an ease of access for gear year-round. Back up to me. So what we're really trying to do here as the Griffin's Nest is create a new start, a new look, and a new era. So at the beginning of the fall semester, we were given this black Chestnut Hill athletic t-shirt that says a new era on the back. Now you look at it, you think it's just a black t-shirt that says Chestnut Hill. But I play on the men's lacrosse team at the school, and we took this t-shirt and we said every Friday, we're gonna make it Black Friday. It means you have to have this on to lift, to practice, and to anything team related that day. Now you'd be surprised to see the amount of morale that was boosted from just a t-shirt. Now imagine if that type of morale was put out throughout the entire school with Nike products, Gildan products, any type of Chestnut Hill inspired gear to the student body, athletes, parents, anyone who is related through Chestnut Hill. This could have very, very large potential at immaculate growth.
All right, so our partner. Through doing a lot of research and talking with our athletic director, we found the best opportunity was partnering with Schuylkill Valley Sports. Schuylkill Valley Sports was founded in 1971, and it's a one-stop shop for all athletic needs, whether that's sprint football for football equipment, basketball for jerseys, lacrosse for jerseys or equipment, and all other sports needs. Any sporting gear or equipment you need, they have, as well as all brands that are needed. Our school, over the past couple years, has had a contract with BSN Sports, Valley Sports North, and it is in the fourth year of the five-year contract. So what we're trying to do is create a new sense and opportunity for our school and our brand.
So a little bit more about SV Sports. It's the largest African-American owned team sports dealer in the East Coast. And as you see up on the screen, Chris Paul is one of the leading investors in the company. And something that makes SV Sports stand out among the rest, especially against BSN, is that they're committed to focusing on the individual partners as well as the athletes that are followed by that partnership. So, as it says up there, an SV Sports media team member will come out to games, home games or away games, and interview an outstanding player or coach that has performed highly in the past couple games, do an interview, promote them on social media, which will help not only the program, but the athlete get their name out into the social works.
So to start, through Schuylkill Valley Sports, we're gonna have three options of selling gear and building gear around our school. The first option is a 365-day store, which is gonna be a website through our athletic program in partnership with Schuylkill Valley Sports that offers cheap, affordable gear that has free range of personalization and a broad selection of men and women's gear. It's almost like essentially like a Fanatics store. like where you go to Phillies games, stuff like that, and you see where they have all different types of options from mugs to blankets to whatever you need, branded by Chestnut Hill. So what we can do is take a look at the sample store that we've started with Schuylkill Valley Sports. As you can see, there's multiple different options, plenty of colors. You can choose any colors you want. In our bookstore right now, there's only limited colors between red, yellow, and some white. And also, to show the personalization, if you want to do personalization on the front, right now the templates that we have are different Chestnut Hill options. Personalization on the back, whether it's a name, a last name on the back, or a number on the back, is just a $6.95 upcharge. And so what you can do is for personalization, you can go in there and say someone on the men's golf team wants to order a piece of gear, David. You can go in, you can customize it, you can make any gear on this store customizable to what you want. We'll just scroll through so we can see some of the items. You can't scroll through everything because there's over 250 items on here.
So the second option that we're going to go through is the pop-up store. So the pop-up store is going to be basically all Nike-based sponsored gear, and Connor and Colby are actually going to show you a couple of the potential gear you could possibly order off the website. So yeah, as you can see, as they're showing it, it's just different varieties of just the Griffins men's basketball, SAC, which is basically a student ambassador service. So, but they all have Nike signs on. Just we feel like this would be a beneficial because a lot of the sports teams right now are Nike, so we're gonna stick with that. And these stores can be open whenever. Given up through the high demand, we're going like depend on when we're gonna open up the stores. But these stores, when they're opened, will be only open for 7 to 10 days. But there's actually no upfront charge to produce these websites, so we're not losing any money at all.
So our third option is our bulk shipments, or in-person stores, in other words. These stores, we run straight through SV Sports, our representative there. She will give us the discounted price of the Nike merchandise, all on a bulk shipment. So it's handled personally to receive physical gear. The whole idea of this is to bring it to a direct marketing standpoint where we're actually hand in hand with the customer. We're at all home games, we're at schooling events, we're anywhere where Chestnut Hill calls home, we're there and we're at a table selling, getting our name out, getting the apparel out, and building up our brand loyalty. As well as that, actually, that was all on the point. I have another. I'll talk about, I apologize. So, a big question is, what is the pricing and how does that go into it? You know, is it a big shipment, you get less? That's kind of how it works. So it depends on the volume of shipment, the amount of logos. So as you saw in the 365 store, there was a bunch of different logos you can test out, the template as well that you can put different names on. With the bulk shipment, you have to stick with 1 to 2 logos at approximately like a 3-color limit, just so it's price efficient for both our partnership or partner and us. But at the end of it, it is discounted merchandise that we will receive and sell, so it is strictly profit.
Okay, in terms of the market analysis, so we were actually able to send out a survey to a small sample group of individuals, and the responses, as you can see, the responses that we got back was pretty positive, given that about 96% of the Chestnut Hill, like the people that we took the survey, wanted an improvement of apparel. As you can see on the survey, the sweatshirts, sweatpants, polo shirts, shorts, they're all ranked like that. So And then there was actually a third question, the open-ended comment section that we had, and it just iterated that the online store option was a high demand from the customers that took the survey.
So as of right now, competition. Our competition right now is technically the bookstore because the bookstore has limited clothing options, but we want to make it known that we're not entirely competing with the bookstore because our bookstore offers great options through Barnes & Noble with different books and different accessories that students need. So we're not trying to take away from the bookstore at all. We're more just growing for the athletic department. And then also BSN Sports. So Best Supply Network Sports, currently, like I mentioned, Jesse Bowser, our athletic director, 4 years ago signed a contract with them for 5 years. And based on the reviews that we've been seeing from all the respective teams, basketball, lacrosse, baseball, all the other teams that we've talked to and coaches, they've all felt that BSN Sports hasn't been the best with customer relations. And also since they only offer Nike-sponsored gear with limited options, their pricing is extremely high. So that's something that we wanted to take an initiative on.
As we all know that social media has a huge impact on society today, and just going to a small university like Chestnut Hill with little enrollment, we just felt like having a strong presence in the social media world will only benefit us. So we actually decided to have 3 platforms that we're going to create the social media accounts on: Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Just with these, we feel like this will help the growth outreach on the community and will help benefit our company. Along with promoting the Griffin's Nest on social media, we're actually going to have opportunity that we're going to have in-person sales. So basically we're going to sell gear at the home games and school events like open house, incoming freshman day, and transfer day. The announcements will actually be posted on our social media pages. Emails will be sent out, and we'll have posters around the school and the community. And this is just, we wanted us to raise awareness and possibly just create excitement and anticipation for the new gear that students and faculty could possibly be able to purchase.
So in our financial analysis, what you're looking at right now is the our total spreadsheet folder for our bulk shipment. So as you can see, well maybe not because you guys are far away, but it's short sleeves, long sleeves, hoodies, and hats. And this is what we're looking to buy for the in-person, our bulk shipment. And through discussion with our SV sales rep, we came down to a number of 248 total items that we would buy from them and then sell out. It all really goes through how much we're really willing to put out and what we'd see in the first year. But as you can see, for short sleeves, we're being charged from SV Sports around $18. Long sleeves for $21, hoodies for $40, and hats for $15. And we're looking to make around a $5 to $10 marginal profit just to keep it within reason for low-income families or even just anyone, a college student. I know my pocket isn't the wealthiest right now. So this is something, if you look down farther, we have the total quantities, but our total estimated sales, we're looking at $9,064 with our bulk inventory costs of around $6,300. So before shipping expenses, we're looking at a total of $2,760. After a 6% charge for shipping, our total profit is around $2,600.
So I just want to make it known again and clear that what Colby just showed you guys is solely our bulk inventory. So that's going to be what we're giving out at the events. So now what I'm going to talk about is our pop-up stores that are open for 7 to 10 days. As you can see, the SV Sports price is what SV Sports is providing, the Nike branded Chestnut Hill gear that we are buying, they're providing on our website. And then the Griffin's Nest charge is just $5 to $10 on each individual item. So that's the sole profit that we're going to make. And through our partnership, SV Sports and the Griffin's Nest, the prices, like if you make a purchase, the $20 for the t-shirt goes directly to SV Sports, and the $5 profit on the one item goes directly to our athletic account. So our sale projection for the Nike pop-up store is the estimated buyers that we came to a number about. We have over 300 student athletes at our school currently. So we didn't want to inflate the amount of buyers that we would have in our first year, so we wanted to keep it reasonable. So we took about 300 athletes and we included 300 others. So whether that's family, friends, or even other students that aren't athletes. So as you can tell, we're really lowballing this number of how many people would buy gear, because I know my family, we purchase at least 20 items of gear whenever we see a flash store open for the men's basketball team. So we just wanted to keep it as low and reasonable as possible. So that brings our total estimated buyers to about 600 for the first pop-up store. The average price for the Griffin's Nest the Griffin's Nest items are $45.56. And that leaves our estimated sales at over $27,000. And then we need to subtract the SV pricing, which is that left column that you see up there, and their average cost is about $38.89. So you times that by the 600, that gives you a little over $23,000, leaving the total projected pop-up profit on the pop-up at around $4,000 for our first store.
So to look at our overall projected profit analysis between online and in-person stores, we have to take into consideration how many times we're going to approach these stores, how many times we're going to replenish our gear, and we're thinking one of each store per semester may be a reasonable feat, as we would be seeing a bulk shipment profit of around $2,600, like I said, in the first semester, and $2,000 in the second, as well as the first semester of a pop-up profit would be $4,000 and the second would be $3,000, which makes our total profit projection store earning around just under $12,000. As you may see, our second semester is a little bit lower than our first, and that's because we assume that the athletes and students are probably going to swallow up our first blast of apparel out and may slow down towards the second. But the second wave of individuals, we're really looking to target the prospective students, the alumni that haven't had this opportunity in 10 years, and any parent that really wants to support their kid, whether they're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, athlete, club member, anything. So, and this also does not take into account the profits of our 365-day store, just because it would be really hard to track down every single purchase of a quarter zip to a mug. So this has no implementation of our 365. This is just between bulk and our pop-up profits.
And just to wrap things a little up, so as Chestnut Hill student athletes that are nearing becoming alumni, like many of the individuals sitting in front of us today, we just want to be able to represent our college, like whether we're going to have different jobs in different areas of the country. So as we just want to be able to just wear our school with pride and just represent where we came from. So we actually envision the partnership with SV Sports will provide the campus with school spirit and athletic support.
So the investment opportunity that we're asking for is roughly $7,000, which is initially only for our bulk inventory, because our 365 store and our flash stores require no expense through us, through our partnership with SV Sports. So with the profit at hand through our financials, we expect that the return on investment would be through just under 3 years. And that's taking into account about 8 to 10% return on our profit throughout our first year, depending on how our second and third year goes. I would also just like to extend a thank you to all the people that helped us throughout this semester working on this project. Professor Brazillo for really guiding us throughout this semester. Jesse Bowser, our Director of Athletics. He really helped us with navigating through the BSN contract and how it's different between SV Sports. And then also the sales rep that we talked to at Schuylkill Valley Sports, Marissa Lozano. She helped us great with a bunch of meetings we had throughout the semester. And their head of sales, Jeffrey Scott at Schuylkill Valley Sports also, he put in a lot of effort with us on creating the website. So we just wanted to say thank you for them. And now we'll open it up to any questions. Tom. 4 years ago, yeah, I know. That's why we took advantage of this situation.
With the 265 model, like let's say you wanted to order for a team, would you be able to get any discount on that, like large amount of bulk, or is that just completely one order to the price of one?
Well, so if your team individually wanted to order bulk, we would go through directly with our Schuylkill Valley Sports sales rep, and we would order a bulk shipment. You would be able to customize it however you want. It would be Nike gear, or you could choose any of the gears they have. They have the same brands as BSN, so it's Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all the brands. I know our school is Nike. I know the tennis team, you guys all have Nike stuff. So I would recommend going through a bulk shipment instead. And once you order a bulk shipment, you get discounted prices through the Schuylkill Valley rep directly. So, and then you would get to customize however you want your gear. Diego.
Have you also played with the possibility of partnering with the bookstore here or buying?
Yeah, so we were talking to our Director of Athletics, Jesse Bowser, about that possibility. But we wanted to make it known that we're not solely competing with the bookstore. So we would hope that the bookstore would be open to us putting our gear there. But also at the other end, they have their own individual gear, the way that they sell it, and their profits go directly to the school. Our profits are more going towards the athletic fundraising account, which funds our athletic programs. Tom.
Would that then fund the athletic program there as well?
Yes. Yeah, so the reason we couldn't show a financial statement for the 365-day store is because we wouldn't be able to map out who's going to buy what on that store just because of the amount of items that we have. And also we would keep it with the same general profit. Like the prices we had, it was $22 for a t-shirt. That's already taken into account the $5 that we would take profit. So the price that we're getting from Schuylkill Valley Sports is around $17, and we're charging an extra $5, making the t-shirt $22, and that profit all goes to the athletic fundraising account. Yes.
Thanks a lot. It's a great idea and way to be able to provide options really for anyone. Right now you're anticipating the only cost you have are any bulk items that you purchase to be able to sell at the games. Do you anticipate finding it necessary to include any administrative costs to cover any of the efforts that you're putting forth? And then kind of a flip of the same coin, you're not going to be here forever. How do you perpetuate and continue this on from year to year to make sure that it's followed up by future students?
Yep, so to answer your first question, we've talked with Jesse Bowser, Director of Athletics, Professor Borzillo. We're going to do student employment, so we don't need a lot of workers. We only need necessarily 1 or 2 workers at the games because it's not going to be a large amount of gear. Like it'll just be a table with a couple Nike gear, be able to sell. So they get credits for the student employment, so that costs us no charge. So they get I think it's 3 credits for if you do 2 semesters of student employment, and that relation would go through the athletic department. And then, what was your second question again? It was
how do you carry it on from year to year?
So we were in talks with one of our professors, Professor Jeter, and he works with the finances during the school, and so he also mentioned that he would do, along with us, we would obviously stay connected with the program and everything because we think that throughout our 4 years, we wish we had a lot of opportunities for gear. But Professor Jeter is going to help us with handling those profits and the costs through the athletic fundraising account as years go on. Yes.
First of all, gentlemen, I've been waiting for this for 25 years, so thank you. And I'm already a customer when there's pop-up stores, like for the men's basketball team that goes through Instagram. So this is a phenomenal idea. Just a couple of questions. So did Schuylkill Valley settle on that $6.95 upcharge for customization? Because there's an opportunity there for us to make money on the back end there.
Yeah, so Schuylkill Valley, they use two different websites or suppliers through the Flash store and the 365 store. The 365 store is through Bespoke, and it's a company that they take partial percentage of the profit as long as Schuylkill Valley Sports, because they have a contract. So then that's between them and Schuylkill Valley Sports, and so we would only make that profit of the $5 to $10 upcharge. So we're like, that's not related to us necessarily. But I think with the relations that we have with Schuylkill Valley, they're really driven into like the process that we're going through with building the brand of the school, and I know that they would take that into account if we brought it up to them.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe use that as an opportunity, see if they will give you, if it costs more or if they charge more, if you'll get the additional on the back end.
Yes, ma'am.
Because customization is much more expensive than $6.95.
Yeah.
So it definitely can make incremental costs there.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
They also told us that depending on the personalization, like whether you're doing like heat signatures with putting the logos on or anything, or if you're embroidering it, there's different costs. So the $6.95 that they give us is like, they said that would be the highest charge for a personalization on the back.
Wow. That's cheap for embroidery or tackle twill. I think, yeah, that's very cheap. I'd look into that. You could definitely do an upcharge though in addition if they would give you any of the other money. It would be a good idea. And then just one other thing, don't forget alums. So alumni weekend is huge here. And then don't forget we used to be brown and gold. So that's another opportunity because Kathy and I are a little older and we wore brown and gold.
Okay, yeah. Well, on our 365 store, you have the option to put brown or gold shirts. So I would say that would be the best option for that. Yeah, exactly, definitely. If you like the Nike gear, yes, definitely. Yes.
Great presentation, gentlemen. I'm really excited by everything that you showed us here today. Question that I had, you focused on the athletes, but with the customization, I think you also have an increased opportunity with other clubs, academic programs. Really, the sky is the limit. I think that you could jump in there and just saturate the whole market, and you could be a disruptor in other schools as well. So I think if you wanted to turn this into something bigger than an altruistic thing to benefit the Chestnut Hill athletic teams, you could go there.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think a big thing there is the one template we showed, how we could switch up the names. They're working on multiple templates, so not only are we going to be able to help just athletics, but also clubs. And that could go for further if clubs were to reach out to us for a fundraising opportunity. We're definitely able to, create a specialized, personalized store for them. And yes, we could dive right into that market, and that's an amazing idea.
Yes, David.
First of all, great job, guys. As the other judges said, you guys identified a very big problem, I think, and found a great solution. So kudos to you guys. One thing, obviously, as a former athlete at Chestnut Hill and going through different pop-up stores and different things like that, shipping and production time has been not great, to put it lightly. What is your guys' shipping and production time for a bulk order, for example?
So their bulk orders, different than the Flash store. The bulk order, Schuylkill Valley Sports gives us a large discount off for that, and it's 6% for their shipping, and then through the pop-up stores, it's very similar. It's 6% as well. And also part of the issue that we found with BSN Sports was that they were really bad with customer relations and getting gear on time. A lot of times the gear was late. I know for our golf team we got gear halfway through the season one time. But Schuylkill Valley Sports is really dedicated on making sure that all of our needs are fulfilled as good as possible because they are in the Eastern PA region and they've been successful since 1971. So I think they focus really big on that, and they have great customer relations when it comes to providing refunds if something were to happen. They take all liability on that. There's nothing that we have to go through with, like Nike, if they are late on a shipment or something. Schuylkill Valley takes care of that.
First, I'd love to say, I want to say that I love the idea because it's something that your business plans kind of something that I've done previously in other business plans for charity or even. But have you thought about the larger? Here's the thing. We just went to the Wawa the other day and have a little tiny store off the side there, and they have University of Maryland and stuff in there. It's like all this like college type stuff, but there was no Chestnut Hill. But it was 5 minutes down the road. You go down through Chestnut Hill, and you don't see any Chestnut Hill college stuff. So to be able to maybe try and reach out, to put that out somewhere a little bit farther than just in-house, even to places like Rally House. Plus, if you do that, you'll be able to buy a larger bulb, which will bring down the cost actually substantially, generally, which will just throw your profits up even higher. You'll be able to do more turnaround and do more with that. So, have you thought about maybe, plus, as we work with other schools too, after you've done here, find out other schools that are going through the same type of situation, which you could actually implement that there and make a little profit on that.
Yep, so I would say part of the problem that you are assessing is the whole reason we started this, and all three of us being athletes, like we just found that all of our peers on our team and everything, they thought that was just as big an issue as we did. So I would say that would definitely be something that we would take into account. But the initiative that we're taking right now is to focus on building our school and our school athletic program. And then I think down the road, once we see profits enough to branch out and use that money to reinvest in other places, that would definitely be a great solution. So thank you. Yes, sir.
In your initial summary, you'd mentioned as a goal, you put this, project in place to support the athletic department and the athletes themselves. Have you identified a specific target goal amount that you feel you'd like to see this reach at some point?
Yeah, so overall, we want to, like, how the bookstore has the apparel in there, kind of like Diego was saying, we would really like to eventually partner with the bookstore and be able to put our gear in there and have a place on campus, like a brick and mortar store. But right now, since it's early on in our business and we're just starting it, it's most cost efficient to do more of a hybrid, and our in-person sales be through the student employment and at the fundraising events or other alumni events, stuff like that. So I think, yeah, definitely down the road, brick and mortar store would be our goal.
What's your question further? Do we have a set number in mind for?
Yeah, more so of a target goal amount raise that you'd like to try to hit.
So we don't have like a specific number. I think that's something we could look into most definitely, but I think what our goal really is to just see slight increases in income for our sports teams. Because right now, I know personally, my lacrosse team is deciding upon staying up in Connecticut for $20,000 or staying a night, coming home, and then going back up for $12,000. So it's kind of difficult when a program is so short for money, and I think we all would like to see just a release and a little bit of weight off of coaches' shoulders, not having to do that. So just a littlest bit would help immensely, but tracking it would probably be a very smart idea.
Yeah. Have you thought about how you would allocate each individual purchase to specific athletic department or sport specifically? Like if you buy a tennis shirt, that $5 goes to the tennis team? Or is that discretionary after the fact?
That might be discretionary after the fact, and well, unless it's a pop-up store. If it's say the basketball team were to do a pop-up store for the whole school, like, hey, we're doing a whiteout, come join our pop-up store, we have it a week out early, get your white tees, they'll be in by the time. Then we'll be able to allocate a little bit of money, but off of the 365 with the templates that we have and the ability to put anything on there, it would be difficult, but after a year, 2, 3 down the line, I think putting a group amount of money into the entire athletic department would be a little bit smarter, so it's evenly distributed and everyone's all put together and it's not just one program's getting the funds.
Just to add on to that, I would also say that we spoke directly with Jesse, our athletic director, and we talked about which account within the athletic department would be the best for us to supply, and he said the athletic fundraising account would be by far the best option because that supplies the needs of all sports. I think that's more up to our athletic department to carry out the ratio of what sports demand more money based on team size and stuff like that. So, I mean, definitely after more communication with Jesse, we'd be able to figure that out, I think. Yeah, so our 365 store goes up to, I think, we'll pull that up, but I know that the flash stores and everything have, I think, up to 6 or 7 sizes from extra, extra small to double X or triple X. So yeah, I think especially the 365 store offers a lot of sizes. So up to 6X. Yeah, so I mean, if we want to explore the store a little bit, I think there's 10 different pages of stuff. I know my nephew could use that, but.
One thing that I didn't hear you bring up, maybe you didn't, I missed it. Is BSN also the uniform supplier of the college?
Yes, so BSN supplies the uniforms. Schuylkill Valley does the same. So Schuylkill Valley is different in the fact that they provide the 365-day store, which BSN doesn't. BSN works more with just dealing with teams. So what we're trying to do is deal with our entire athletic department and then eventually reinvest into the school. But BSN Sports normally just deals with individual teams and their specific jerseys or equipment.
So doing that with Schuylkill Valley, then would you need to, because you talked about the BSN contract and all that next time, I would imagine that you have to enter a new contract with Schuylkill Valley. So if you consider that in regards to your profit margins and kind of where the cost that you would have to put up front in order to provide those uniforms, before you even get into the year?
Yeah, so Schuylkill Valley Sports, since on the 3 stores that we offer, they take direct money out of the cost of the options. It's more just signing a contract that we will work directly with them for 5 years rather than us paying them $10,000 for 5 years up front and signing a contract that way. So it's more of just using their services is the contract, and then they make money off of the sales of our gear, and then we take the profit that we upcharge.
I'm sorry to say that our 4th presentation won't occur. Carla's a little sick.
Ready?
You guys have it's all yours.
All right. Well, after much deliberation and careful consideration, we determined that the winner of the business presentations, the Griffin Tank, who should get first place, would be the Griffin's Nest. Wow. Yes. Congratulations. But in very, very close second, the Griffin's Consulting Partners. And with a little bit of guidance and some tweaking with some information that we have some real estate professionals here and some business professionals and some also some with some really good information that can be passed along. The roommate in third, and happy to talk to anyone to tweak your presentations as you progress with them.
Yeah, great job, guys. First of all, I was in your shoes a year ago. I know it's difficult. You're working an entire semester. You got athletics, extracurriculars on the side. So great job on all the presentations. As Chris said, we just decided to go with Griffin Nest. You guys identified an issue and obviously presented professionally as well. But to all the groups, nonetheless, you guys all did a great job, and thanks for taking the time this evening.
Can I ask a question for the consultant? Any opinion as to their decisions about which way to go? Because we have Reverend up here, and I know we would love to hear your input on your position on what you think they, financially and the direction.
I kind of want to just echo what I said during the presentation about that middle ground option of food truck and brick and mortar, and I think based on our conversation, it sounds like that's kind of in the direction you're heading anyway. So sounds like you're on the right track.
Right now, you're selling meat with a mission, and I would pump that message all day long. And if it were me assisting you with the business, I would even include a space in the payment options for a donation to your nonprofit. I think that there are a lot of people, and I'm one of them, who love great food, but they will drive for a place that is doing good with that money.
Do any of the teams have any questions?
Thank you. You guys all did a fantastic job. It was really impressive reading all of your business proposals and seeing what you guys are doing at this level when you haven't really been in the business world just yet. So kudos to each and every one of you and to your professors. A lot of work went into this material, so you should all feel very, very proud. That said, at some point you're going to go into the business world and you might be creating your very own business proposal asking for real money. And my advice to you would be to think of everything that somebody's going to ask you. If they're going to hand you $1 million or $100,000 or $100 million, what questions are they going to ask, and make sure that's in your proposal? Pictures, graphs, everything that you can think of. Answer those questions in the proposal. But great job. Proud of you.
I'd like to thank our judges. You were awesome. And to our seniors, congratulations and good luck. Remember us at the Center for Business. Keep us updated and keep us informed. I really love to brag about my students. So please tell me what you're doing so I can brag about you. You too, Maddie. Let us know about your employment, because I brag about employment. And I may just poor David over here, everyone talks that, oh, they're thinking about finance, and I send them to David. I'd love to send students to see you once you get your jobs. And I really look forward to hearing your name called at graduation. If you see a crazy lady cheering, you know it's me. Good night. Thank you.